Alright, so one of the things we have to do as a human being in the information age, I think I told you guys, you guys know about evolution prior, if you remember science. And they teach in nature, Darwin came up with this theory that it was survival of the fittest. Yeah. Meaning the strongest person in the environment is the one that survives and gets all the resources. But because we're in information now, it's no longer really survival of the fittest or the strongest, it's survival of the smartest. Because remember, there's nothing but information out here. And so the person that evolves and adapts and keeps moving forward is the person who is the wisest and the most intelligent. So therefore, you need to master, I call it here, the art and science of learning. You have to know how to learn. Because technically speaking, let's say I master computers, and I'm that guy that can put a computer together like that that'll run for 20 years. Let's say some new technology come out and don't nobody want computers anymore. Well, because I learned how to learn, I can go back to school, I can go back to college, I can get a book out and relearn again because I learned how to learn. And that's like your insurance policy. Meaning I got my vision built, and now the technology is dead. I got to sustain my vision. Therefore, it's like insurance. Like if you ever crash your car, if you got good insurance, you get a brand new car. It's the same with your life. If something goes wrong with life, and you wreck your life, if you learn how to learn, you get it right back. That's why it's like an insurance policy.
Y'all hear what he said? Yeah. Sure.
So life insurance?
You are your life insurance. Your ability to learn is your life insurance. Meaning, if something goes, let's say you buy you a beautiful house, beautiful car, got a beautiful family, and you lose your job because nobody wants to buy cars anymore. You can step back and learn how to do something else, and then get all that stuff back, or never have it taken from you. But if you don't know how to learn, now you're stuck. Because you had a job, and that's the only, you may have had a job, but you didn't learn the act of learning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Another thing you're going to learn, have to learn how to do, this is one thing I've mastered. There's another reason why I think I have been able to be successful in this country. I call it escape from zombie land. My crew growing up, out of maybe my 5 closest guys, I was the only one that graduated on time. One of them got finished up in summer school and the rest never graduated. I was the only one that went to college. I say escape from zombie land because you got to learn how to cut off people that aren't helping you get towards your vision. And you'll know who those people are, but one of the things they do, they never tell you to do the right thing. If your boy comes and you say, man, we should woo, or what should I do? And they tell you, man, you should run up on that nigga, man. They're always giving you the wrong thing to do. That's a zombie. And this is what a zombie is. Whoever saw a zombie movie? What do zombies do? Their goal is to touch you and turn you into a zombie, right? A zombie is a human, is a person without a dream. They're just wandering around, looking for other people to turn into zombies. And back when I was growing up in the hood, it was like zombie land. It was like people had no dreams and no visions. On my block, when I was on Highland, we only had 3 fathers on the block. And I'll tell you guys this, I don't know what your relationship is, or if it's your father. I saw my dad 3 times from the ages of 0 to 28. So I saw him when I was 3, I saw him when I was 7 before we left Indianapolis, and I didn't see him again until I was 28 at my granddad's funeral. And so, I'm saying all that to say, just to, I guess, give a testimony of being in zombie land. Despite the fact I didn't have a dad around, I had a over-emotional mom, and I had inconcerned neighbors, I still was able to get through that maze, again, all the way back to vision. And so, a zombie is necessarily, I call it dream sick. Meaning the germs of their environment has made them sick. And you know if you're sick, you can't function well. You can't function in school, you can't function at work, etc. And so those people are dream sick and they don't function well in society. And sometimes people will do it on purpose, and sometimes people don't know what they're doing, but in essence, they're turning you into a zombie. So you gotta identify. What I give you guys an assignment when you get a chance, make a list of your the 10 most influential people in your life. And then I want you to identify the ones that just don't help you live a positive life and make good decisions. And I want you to take something and scratch them off. That's called eliminating a zombie. Now sometimes you have a zombie that you can't eliminate. It can literally be your mom. It can literally be your brother or sister. So what you got to learn how to do is minimize contact. Meaning find a way to engage or interact with that person as little as possible. That could mean going, hanging out with a friend, doing productive things. That can mean going to the library. That can mean going to the movies. That can mean just getting in your room, putting on your headphones, and doing your thing. All right. We getting through, believe it or not. Willpower. You gotta have willpower in order to be successful. Who's ever been to church before? You ever heard the pastor or somebody say it was God's will and there was nothing we could do? You ever heard that? It was God's will, there's nothing we could do. You want to look at yourself like God. My will, because that's what your vision and dream is, that's your will. That's what you want to be done. You want your will to have more power over your mind and your emotions than the people in your environment and your habits and your addictions and your weaknesses. You want your power and your vision to have more power than, again, the way you think, feel, and behave. Work ethic. I won't say much here, but sometimes you got to go in, I call it machine mode. I've written 13 books, and I wrote them in like 3 years, maybe 3 or 4 years. And people always ask me, how did you write that many books in 3 or 4 years?
50 pages a day.
Sometimes, yeah. Literally, sometimes, yep. It's work ethic, and I call it machine mode. And the reason why you want to have a good work ethic and know when to go into machine mode and real quick, you can't ever be in machine mode if you're lazy or scared of work. As a man, the one thing I take responsibility for is I'm going to have to work. I can't be no lazy Negro and have my vision. So the reason why you want to have a strong work ethic is because of this. You have to keep up. Now, I'm going to give y'all an example. If I'm below average, if I work hard, I'm going to look at least average. If I'm average, but I work very hard, I'm going to look above average. If I'm above average and I work above average, I'm going to look like God now. You're going to be like, wow, this dude off the chain with intelligence, but it ain't really like that. He just works hard. And so you want to be asking yourself, where am I at where I am right now? How much work do I need to put in? And then commit to putting that work in on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, year-to-year basis. Fight to power. This is what that means. As a black American, the number one goal of American racism is to make you feel you're inferior. It's to make you not have faith in yourself and faith in your future. Anybody ever heard the word internalize? What does that mean?
It's in you.
Huh? Internalize? Nope.
It's in you.
Into you, yep. What internalize means is this. What people think about me and how they perceive me, I absorb it and I make it a part of my identity. So one of the goals of American racism is to make you feel inferior. And this is what's deep about it. At first you won't feel inferior. You're like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But what happens if you don't continue to fight against that message, one day you believe it. And then this is the deep part.
Dre, when you say fight against that message, what that mean?
Oh, intellectually. Not absorbing it, meaning that's not who I am. So it's kind of like I talk to kids, they're telling me my dad always calling me stupid. And so they try to fight it, but sooner or later they start thinking they're not so smart. Or a person can tell you you're ugly, and you start to believe it, and you start to absorb it, and you start to act like a person who's not smart, or act like a person who's not attractive. So you fighting that power, you're making sure you're not absorbing that, because once you absorb that message, society's gonna have to call you inferior no more. You're gonna tell yourself you're inferior. Because you have a system of thinking that you downloaded, and now for the rest of your life, nobody gotta tell you you're inferior. You ain't gotta experience racism no more, discrimination, nothing, because it's gonna be in your head and you're gonna live that way. Be confident, that's very basic. It's just meaning you go into situations feeling like whatever it takes to survive and be effective, I can do it. One of the best ways to keep your confidence up, it goes all the way back to keeping yourself around the right information. We get most of our information from people. Either information from people directly or information from people even in social media, through the media, through music, etc. So ask yourself, where can I get positive sources of information? Whether it's a mentor or whether it's somebody on TV, whatever. In the professional world, like really any world, if you're selling drugs, if you're playing athletics, if you're working on Wall Street, if you're working for politics, you have to be competitive. Because remember, nobody's giving you anything. Nobody is saying, hey, let's split this up. You get 7, I get 7. No, And somebody wants to say, look, I give you these 2, but these 12 is mine. So therefore you have to compete. You have to compete with that person, with this whole society. So don't walk into the day thinking, I'm just going to get what's fair. No, you got to figure it's just like a game. Nobody's going to give me the championship. I got to go out there and fight for it. Managing time, it sounds basic, but it's deeper than what it is. If you look, the best way to look at time, I look at it like a force or a vehicle. If you remember when you was a kid, your mom threw you in the back seat of the car, you had no control of where y'all went. You just had to sit there and ride and go from one spot to the next. That's the same, that's what time is. I told you guys earlier, it's just constantly pushing you. You cannot control time. You cannot defeat the force of time. And when you meet somebody that you can't defeat, what you want to do is find a way to work with that person. Now, hold on, let's figure this out. Let's pray about this.
So we can't, like, what do you mean defeat? Like,
say it again?
When you say it like that, I be feeling like, oh, I'm gonna have the initiatives and take the stuff that I can be able to defeat that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why do I have to work with him? But that's just
that's your competitive nature. But remember, you can't defeat time. We talking about time right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't do nothing with time. So you gotta work with time. And the way you work with time, when you manage your time, what you're doing is this: you're steering it. You're in the vehicle of time, and you're telling time where to take you. Right? The time gonna push you anyway. Manage your emotions. This is a big one. If you don't listen to no other slide on here, listen to this management of emotions. The reason why you have to master your emotions, and I'll tell you what it means to master your emotions in a minute, is because if you don't outthink this culture and become a problem solver, you know why it would be? Because of your emotions. Your emotions stop you from wanting to learn. Your emotions stop you from wanting to become an expert, solve a problem, be educated, be trained, whatever it is. And so you got to figure out, what is my dominant negative emotion? What emotion takes my energy? Even if, right now, what emotion would I experience if I know I got a test Monday, or I know I have to take care of responsibility Monday, and I still don't put forth the work, the focus, I don't manage my time, I don't manage the people in my life, it'll be because of your emotions. If you go to the prison, homeless shelter, graveyard, hospital, so many people are in those situations because of their emotions. If you take the word E off of emotions, what do you have? Emotion. That's the purpose of emotions. Emotions are just energy. It's energy like gasoline in the car. So every day you wake up with a full tank of emotions. And the reason why God gave you emotions, because without emotions you'd be a robot. And the reason why you'd be a robot, because you wouldn't care about anything. Emotions make you care about things. If something makes you happy, you're going to care about that thing. If something makes you sad, you're going to care about it. If something makes you mad, you're going to care about it. So that's why we have emotions to motivate us to move. Like a car won't move without gas, you won't really move without emotions. Now, this is how you master your emotions. Everybody in here is going to be sad sometimes. Everybody in here is going to be angry. Sometimes you're going to be happy. Sometimes you're going to be anxious. All of those emotions you experience, you have to master. How do I channel these emotions? What motion do I produce as a result of this emotion?